Most of us operate under a specific, silent assumption that life is a battle. We believe that to achieve anything, we must fight for our goals, struggle against our bad habits, and aggressively oppose everything we dislike. But there is a strange contradiction in this approach. When we pour our energy into fighting things we hate, like a toxic workplace or an infuriating neighbor, we often find ourselves more deeply entangled with them than before. It suggests a possibility that is rarely considered. What if the act of fighting to escape our problems is the very mechanism that keeps us locked inside them? We generally have only a vague sense of what we want, but our focus on what we do not want is typically razor-sharp and constant. When we dwell on feelings of hostility or resentment toward a problem, we are effectively feeding it our attention. This emotional investment acts like a tether, keeping that specific reality in our immediate field of view, rather than allowing it to fade away. Actively resisting an unwanted reality ensures your continued participation in it. To change the outcome, we have to look at the mechanics of how we navigate the world in the first place. Think of reality not as a single track, but as an infinite coordinate grid, a space of alternatives. It contains every possible script and every possible setting our lives could take, all existing as potential paths. We navigate this grid through our mental state. The specific frequency of our thoughts and emotions acts like a spotlight, lighting up one particular lifeline, while the infinite other possibilities remain in the dark. Even in quantum physics, we see that the way an observer chooses to measure a subatomic particle determines whether it manifests as a wave or a particle. The reality we see is shaped by the framework we use to look at it. If the grid is infinite, why do we get stuck on paths we hate? It's often because our frequency is hijacked by massive, unseen systems we can call pendulums. A pendulum is a structure formed whenever a group of people begin thinking and feeling in the same direction. This collective energy creates a self-sustaining loop that begins to act according to its own internal logic. You can feel this momentum in a massive sports stadium. The unified emotion of thousands of people creates a surge of energy that is much larger than any single individual. Political movements and ideologies work the same way. They turn collective thought into a rigid system that requires its followers to stay tuned to the same specific frequency. These systems are entirely dependent on human attention. When a pendulum loses its followers and its energy supply, it effectively dies, which is why we now only see ancient tools or defunct religions in museums. The same is true for outdated technology or trends. Once they no longer command the focus of the group, their momentum stops. Large pendulums are not inherently evil, but they are indifferent to your well-being. Their only goal is to maintain their own momentum, which requires a constant supply of human energy. These systems often elevate specific leaders to power. They don't do this for the individual's benefit. They do it because that person is a highly effective conductor for the crowd's energy, maximizing the system's growth. Once the system gains enough speed, it can chew up human lives just to sustain its own structural movement through history. The trap is that a pendulum doesn't care if you are an ardent supporter or a bitter opponent. Both reactions, devotion and hatred, provide the intense emotional energy it needs to keep swinging. When you become outraged by a news cycle or a toxic boss, you are locking your frequency to theirs. You are staying on a lifeline dictated by the system you say you want to leave. This is why fighting back usually fails. By engaging in conflict, you are giving the system the exact type of energy it uses to thrive. Turning away and trying to build an emotional wall is equally exhausting. Maintaining a defensive shield requires a massive output of energy that is still vibrating at the frequency of the thing you fear. To escape, you have to do something much more difficult. You must acknowledge the problem's right to exist. You have to stop judging it or demanding its removal. Only when you stop resisting can you use a method called the gentle dodge. It's similar to martial arts like Aikido. Instead of blocking a direct hit, you accept the momentum of the attack, Move with it for a moment and let it safely pass by you into empty space. In daily life, this means becoming emotionally empty toward a provocation. You don't hide from it, you simply ignore it. When a pendulum tries to provoke you and finds no emotional resistance, it has nothing to hook into. Its energy dissipates, and that specific problem eventually drops out of your experience. This is the real meaning of choosing your fate. It's not a miracle or a battle. Choice is the quiet withdrawal of your energy from what you hate, allowing you to walk into a different room and inhabit the reality you actually want.